in my hands right here, I have a book that is a collaboration between Star Wars and the US government. Yes, I'm talking about the United States of America. But more specifically, this is a collaboration between Star Wars and NASA. So NASA actually, with the great success of the amazing A New Hope. Oh my God. I mean, or it's originally at the time it was just called Star Wars. This is a Q&A about space. So I really like this one. I think this is really cool. It's a bit of a time capsule. It's really outdated. I mean, if you look at some of the stuff in here, like you get to see here, can rockets fly to the stars? Are there moon creatures? Can humans explore Mars? Now, as a conspiracy theorist myself, this kind of tickled my fancy. It tickled that little sweet spot inside of me that made me want to go, oh yeah, I want to research this and do some more. I love it. I love everything to do with this. And my dad actually got this one for me. This is like the story of this one, because so many people were talking about, where I got things and they wanted to know so much more. So I'll give a little bit. I got this one from my dad after the great success of the Star Wars Blueprints book, which is a part of my set. It's right there. It's super cool. It's awesome. Thank you so much for enjoying that video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It took me way too long to do. Go check it out. Love you all so much. Thank you so much for doing it. So basically he got this for me in lieu of, or I guess that's maybe the word, in lieu of this amazing time that I had doing it. And he really liked the look of this one. There's a guy in Tamworth. In Corindai. Now, that is kind of an area, it's like a big farming area, but it also has a lot of bogans. For all of you Americans, because I know I've got I think I have like a 60% American audience, which is amazing. Howdy. Wow, I love America. Hello from Australia. The toilets flush the other way. Yeah, no, so basically, our bogans are your rednecks. Rednecks, bogans, same thing, intertwined. It's basically like the village people. And I'm not talking about the band, you know what I mean? Or I guess the music group. They're not really a band. Maybe they are a band. Maybe they are a music group. That's not the point. We have this book to go through. So I'm just going to go through this book and kind of make comments as we go. I'm going to show like a little bit of videos and kind of, keep you guys up to date with this. So this one actually we got from Nathan James Trim. I don't actually think it was from him. I think that was actually just like a random kid. But Nathan James and now Bloore on Mandalore. Oh my God, how crazy is that? I really, really like this this actual bit here. I'm going to try to make it a part of the thumbnail if I can. I mean, like this is the title, but it's the front page really effectively. I really, really like this one. What's cool is that's actually a real photo at the time of the Orion Belt. You can see, I mean, it has got the worst quality image ever. Now you look at stuff now and you just go, oh my God, that's amazing. It's like I'm there. It's like I'm there right now. But they didn't have that one. So, it's really, really cool. A special thanks to this one. All right. It's been written by Dina L. Moshe, illustrated by David Kawami. Now, this is all hand-drawn illustrations. Everything here. You see here, I mean, I pointed to the wrong one. You see here, I mean, like C-3PO and R2-D2. I mean, sure, they're the robots kind of dragging us around this universe. But, I mean, or galaxy, I guess. Because it really is. There's like so many galaxies, but there's like, anyway, it doesn't matter. Not the point. So all of this is hand-drawn, every single part of it. So massive, massive props to David Kawami. I have no idea who the hell you are, but massive props. Also, special thanks to Robert J. McMillan, Milton E. Ream, Terry White, David W. Garrett, and Peter W. Waller. They're all from NASA. They're all crazy NASA people. I mean, are they hiding the aliens in Area 51? Did you find aliens? Did you find stuff on the moon? Yeah, tell me. Oh my God, just tell me. Tell me. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I love it. I think it's so much fun. Like, why not be a conspiracy theorist? Are we conspiracy theorists or are we conspiracy truthers? You know what I mean? So the first one, we open up to this amazing, amazing illustration here of C-3PO and R2-D2 on what is most likely he's done Mars, but it's actually, I mean, it looks like it's Tatooine. You know what I mean? It says here, is there intelligent life in outer space? Probably. Oh my God, there's aliens. Scientists don't know, but they've been searching for years for life in space. They haven't been successful yet, but people continue to imagine what space creatures might look like. Science fiction writers have invented all different kinds of space creatures: Martians, little green men, space people, and many, many others. So it's kind of like, this one, you got to remember, this is like a full-on introduction to space for so many different kids, and they are brainwashed like crazy. I mean, you would believe this one completely. And at the time, I mean, like, this is not too far off the period period of time and where they thought that dinosaurs died from a massive drought. It wasn't actually from an asteroid. So, I mean, the space knowledge here is just crazy. So, I mean, this first couple of pages, they talk about, what space creatures could look like and so on. Could they be as smart, even smarter, all that kind of stuff. Bullshit. What I find is so cool is how might we contact space creatures? Yeah. They say here the best way could be radio signals. Radio waves are pulses of electricity that zoom through space at the fastest possible speed, the speed of light. Light travels at 186,282 miles, or for people who use proper measurements, kilometers, 299,800 kilometers a second. Of course, the radio in your bedroom can't be used for this kind of communication. How dare you? How dare you? You've taken my childhood. So, imagine speaking to people in space through a radio. Like you clock on, I don't know if you're in Australia, like if you're in Sydney, you get Kyle Sandilands, that doofus, that absolute dingleberry. I mean, he's had some serious sickness right now, so I don't want to speak too badly on him, but he's such a dingleberry. All of those, I mean, if you're looking online, you see the Roy and Jubal or something like Jubal and Brooke in the morning. It's a full-on AI radio. Imagine all of our space creatures, they're coming down from because that's a real space noise. They're coming down onto this little thing, and then they just go, "Oh my god!" What? They're talking to robots. They're literally being manipulated on their little fucking handheld devices by robots. That's so stupid. That's so stupid. Now this is where it kind of gets a little bit scary. A space creature's trying to contact us. We haven't picked up any signals from them yet. Radio telescopes are usually too busy doing other research to listen for a message. Bullshit! Bullshit. I call bullshit there. But American scientists now think it's worthwhile to conduct a program to search for space messages. Imagine there's just like a Rick Astley going around, never gonna give you up, like just cruising around space, and they pick it up. That'd be kind of funny. I actually think they've probably done that. I think they've probably rickrolled some... probably rickrolled a spat. I have a problem with spitting a lot lately. Probably I'm just salivating from looking how good my subscribers look. And even non-subscribers. Because I think you guys are like 66% of the viewers that I see on my thing are non-subscribers. I still love you all. Every single one of you, every single person who's watching this video right now, I love you. I love you. If you want to subscribe to my OnlyFans, it's literally just a bunch of fans in a room because it gets quite hot in my apartment. It's a double brick apartment. I don't know why they even thought about making stuff like this without insulation. Kind of stupid, but it's better than all those plaster stuff. I digress. Basically, they're saying, is it worthwhile to go to space, like to send space messages? And it's like, it's called a search for extraterrestrial beyond Earth intelligence, SETI. That sounds like a very bad infection that you don't want to catch. Maybe on a night out, maybe you put something through a hole that should not be fit through there. Mine could fit in any hole because it's very small. Yeah, it's kind of a brag. I don't make any impact. I'm kind of like in and out. You don't even know. Are you in yet? I don't know. You'll never know. It's like a mystery. It's like a magic trick. If radio telescopes were pointed in the right direction at the right time and were tuned to the right channel, they could pick up a radio message from space creatures. They're not going to use radio. Think about how stupid that is. Like at the time, Star Trek, Star Wars, all that kind of stuff, they're using radios to talk from spaceships down to Earth or down to planets. Mustafa, let's say, like, I've got a little bit of a situation. I got a cow here that I've been probing. Yeah, holla back there. I got a cow as well. I've been sticking things in there. Hoo-ha. Yeah, I don't know what I was going on there. That was kind of like a little bit of a skit. Enjoy the skits here. I love this illustration. I think this is super, super beautiful. They talk about, have we sent any messages into space? Yes! But just one. In 1974, when the giant Arecibo, now that sounds like my nipples. That actually is the name for my left nipple. Radio telescope was improved. A celebration was held. Ewok celebration. Yum nub. Yeah, yum nub. You know what I mean? Like hell yeah, that'd be so sick. Imagine having an Ewok celebration after sending a message to space, and like some aliens see you, and we're just like the hairy dudes just chilling on there, going yum nub. yeah, you're not just praising this gold dude. You know what I mean? Think about it, gold dudes. Maybe Genghis Khan was gold. We don't know. We don't really have proper photos of him. The message was sent with a lesson explaining the code. It told about humans, our home planet, the solar system, and the telescope. I actually heard about this one, and it was intercepted way later thinking that it was a real message, and they got to see it, and they were like, oh my God, what's this code? And then they realized it was from humans. We're dumb. We're dumb. Now, it also adds on to here, why aren't we sending more messages into space? Some fear that if we send out too many messages, we could be invaded by space creatures. Real Star Wars are very unlikely. But it's not entirely impossible for unfriendly space creatures to invade Earth. I'm not going to lie. If I was a space creature and I saw the monkeys that are humans running around here, like destroying each other with bombs nonstop, I mean, I would not want to turn up. I would not want to rock up into a planet that is so hostile. Unless if I rocked up there, dude. If they're like, imagine the space huzz, you know what I mean? Like the bitches out there. And then we've got, even think about from a girl's perspective, like think about the dudes, like space dingling, you know what I mean? Like think about how crazy, I reckon that's the only reason why they would come here. Like to literally, to just come here. That'd be crazy, but it's so true though, right? Like think about why would they want to come to see us? We don't have any real advanced technology. I mean, if you look at it, the way we run with energy, anything to do with fossil fuels is super, super prehistoric. For them, they're going to be like, oh, why aren't you using sleep slug slum? And then you're like, oh, well, we don't have sleep slug slum. And then they go, well, actually, we put it into the pyramids. The aliens built the pyramid. No, I'm not going to go into that one. This is probably the coolest page. This is the coolest page. This has got a C-3PO with R2-D2, and he's looking at the they're looking at a Mars robot, like a satellite robot. This thing looks like it's got cake, man. That thing looks like it's got full on cake, like juicy bunda, you know, bomba clat. UFOs from outer space. The people in charge of space exploration don't think so. Oh, of course you would think that. They doubt that UFOs, or unidentifiable flying objects, are alien spaceships with live or robot space explorers inside. If they were, scientists would almost surely have discovered them by now. Yeah? Talk about Brazil. Talk about Brazil. Bro. So in 1969, the US Air Force ended its big, expensive, sure is expensive, you're funding Epstein, brother, a 22-year-long investigation of UFOs, Project Blue Book. I don't believe this, by the way. This looks so bad. I really don't believe in that whole, like, it's so stupid to root against your own government, but albeit, you know what I mean? Project Blue Book. Even after following up the more than 12,000 reports of UFOs, the Air Force had no positive scientific explanation for any of them. Of course. In 1977, President Carter's science advisor asked NASA to reopen a government investigation of UFOs. NASA said no. Of course you did. And it was probably that it would probably be a waste of time and money. Oh, it's always a waste of time and money when the aliens come in here and they want to sniggle on our booties. They just want to, you know what I mean? They go crazy, man. I'm so sick of aliens taking my cows. They're taking me bloody cows, boy. Bessie from the side, she'd be gone. She'd be taken up in that flying saucer or that flying little pan that they got there. It took my cows. What are UFOs? No one knows for sure, but often UFO sightings are really the planet Venus shining brightly in the early evening. Bullshit! Oh. Sometimes a UFO is a bird flying at sunset. I know the difference between I haven't seen a UFO. I'm not even pretending. Sometimes a UFO is a bird flying at sunset, or a US Air Force craft, or even a weather balloon. But not all UFO sightings have been explained. Man, it's so hard these days because it's like drones are a thing, and you could just put that whole, like, you could put a little pan on top of it and people be like, oh my God. Like, you know what I mean? But just to make someone feel so dumb. Like, think about how dumb these guys would have felt in 1979 to be like, oh, it was just a bird. You know, like you see this tractor beam come down and it's just like, and it lifts up this dude like out of his seat, out of his car, and maybe even lifts the whole car up and you're like, oh, it's just a bird, you know? What are you doing, brother? Did space creatures visit Earth long ago? There is no proof of it. Oh, really? Really? Some ancient structures do look as if more knowledge was needed to build them than what we think people had way back then. But each time scientists check on something we may think have been built by space creatures, they find that humans did have the knowledge and skill to do the work. How very convenient. How very convenient. Records show that people in the ancient times knew many things about miners. To the triple take. It's happening. Transporting and building. Don't even, bro. Don't even. The pyramids, how were they built? I'm turning into Graham Hancock. Who knows? Who actually knows all this kind of stuff? But it's crazy. Like, it's actually crazy. They're like, hey, look, don't worry about this. Don't worry about it. It's birds. It's birds. Humans can do that. Humans can lift tons and tons of sand blocks. I saw that Mr. Beast episode where he was like, they were in bloody, what do you call it? They were in Egypt and they were like looking at the pyramids. It's kind of funny. Like he was just so quick to disprove. Bro, this is where like conspiracy theorist comes out. But like, it was so quick to disprove. Oh, you think aliens? They're no aliens. They're just good people. Don't make fun of the people. Humans smarter than you think. Shut up, brother. Shut up. I can think whatever I want to think. It's 2025. I'm 25 years old. I was born in 2000, February the 4th. That's pretty crazy. Yeah. I'm getting old, man. But like, you know, we are able to discuss things properly. Maybe not aliens. I don't think aliens built the pyramids, but I think it's so interesting to see the different kind of technology that was needed at the time to kind of like shun people for this. By the way, I haven't seen a UFO. I thought I saw a ghost once. I went down to Tasmania. It was kind of cool. I went down to Tasmania and I was just like, doing a ghost tour. It was like all of these prison areas. It was kind of like Alcatraz of Australia, you know? And like we'd go down there and they'd be like, and this house was said to be haunted for years. And all the kids there were like, not really. If I knew a ghost, I'd see one. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of like, I'm walking down and then they go, this area is said to be super haunted. Has anyone seen a ghost? And then I actually full thing, there was like a dude in a suit, like one of those, like, I don't know if they had a projection or whatever. And it was like, it literally, there was a dude who ran across the road. Like it was far away. Like it was probably 100 meters away, but it was enough where you could see. It was like, so, and I was like, oh, I saw a ghost. Like that's really it, bro. Like that's all I saw. That's all I saw. I was so dead. I was terrified. I was like, I'm not going in. This is real. Like the Alcatraz of Australia, this is real. And it's Tasmania. All of them love their own siblings. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of, it's sweet home Alabama, but it's sweet home Tasmania over here. Kind of fun fact for all of you Americans there. Are there moon creatures? I'm skipping through this book because there's a bunch of them here that, you know, it's like, oh, what star is closest to Earth? Our sun. Crazy. And people, you know, can people travel to the sun? Yeah, I know. I mean, there was a guy who tried Icarus. Flew too close, bloody fell down. Bloody, what an idiot. What an idiot. You know what I mean? What an idiot. They talk about how far humans have traveled in space. You know what I mean? They've probably traveled further. Are there more moon creatures? The Apollo astronauts did not find any living creatures or plants on the moon. Scientists did not find any fossils, traces of living things in the moon rocks that they brought back. The moon has no water or atmosphere, which plants and animals need to live. So future moon missions probably will not find life there either. Now, fun fact, this is not actually a joke. They actually found ice, ice caps on either end of the moon, and it was trapped in those ice caps was water. So they did find water on the moon. They haven't found any sign of life, but were they really even moon rocks? They gave us an image of a moon rock here. Were they really moon rocks? Come on, brother. Come on. You know what I mean? I don't know. Or was it even filmed? I just think, why are the moon rocks important to the search for life on Earth? Life in space. Moon rocks are made for the same chemical elements as Earth rocks, although the amounts of these elements are different. These elements are the same ingredients that living things are made of. Maybe these ingredients also exist on other moons, on another moon or planet. If the conditions are right there, maybe they could develop into living creatures as they did on Earth. So that could potentially be a thing. I mean, that's not really fake. I mean, yeah, I want to see, there's probably not going to be any life on the moon unless you go to the other side, but then you're going to find a Transformer ship. You're going to find the dark side of the moon. There's a Transformer ship there. Optimus Prime. There's a couple of really cool, like they've got images of, I don't really need to show you extra of that. Like they've got images of Venus and stuff like that. I mean, painted images as well. Like they see, oh my God, is there life on Venus? And it's like, oh, this is Venus. And then it goes like really fine writing, painting of the surface of Venus. Like it's not even, brother, like come on, you don't have it. You know what I mean? But Venus is cool. It has acid rain there. So really not suitable for life. They talk a lot about the Viking robots. I don't really need to show more of that. I mean, like they've got really cool designs, illustrations. Remember most of these, if not all, some of them are actual photos. Like that is an actual photo of the Viking robot. But I mean, some of these are just so cool. I don't know how this relates to Star Wars too much, to be fair. Other than they just put a couple of photos of characters on them. And they said, hey, there might be a Star War one time. Okay. Then it goes into, let's get into the actual Star Wars part. Oh, yeah. This is interesting. This is interesting now because of AI, right? So actually, right before that, can humans explore Mars? Possibly. Mars is a rough, dry world. Its thin air is mostly carbon dioxide gas. Deadly radiation from the sun strikes the ground. Mars is very cold. When Viking 1 landed there on July 20th, 1976, the highest temperature recorded was minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 30 degrees Celsius. Winter temperatures went way below the lowest ever recorded on Earth. Humans could survive on Mars only if they had food, water, and a spacesuit. The next astronauts on Mars will probably be robots. They are easier and cheaper to send than humans. Yes, obviously that is very, very true. I mean, like they're not trying to spread misinformation like they did before. But Elon Musk, he was like, he doesn't want that to be the case. He wants to send humans. Obviously, we've got a bunch of people who have already signed up to do that, which is kind of cool. This is what's interesting. Can robots think? A robot's computer brain can be programmed, given coding instructions to imitate thinking. The computer can take information and decide how the robot will act. Computers can make robots do hard math problems quickly, write music and poems, and play chess, even learning to try harder to win. But humans still decide what goes into the computers and therefore what the robots do. Really interesting about AI lately. I mean, you probably didn't sign on to this to do a whole thing of AI, but it's interesting to see AI creating its own kind of parameters. It's teaching itself. It could potentially create its own AI, which is, it's a fascinating stuff. It's interesting. So we've got a really cool, I'll show a photo of this. A really cool illustration of C-3PO helping R2-D2 with what is a little it's kind of one of those little oiling, like you see in The Wizard of Oz, you know what I mean? Can robots help each other? Robots can be programmed to check on each other. Oh, best friends. Two robots might go together to explore Mars. If one has trouble, the other will signal to Earth for help. Oh, help. Instructions can be sent from Earth to solve the problem. That's kind of cool. How do robots get their energy? Robots get their energy from electricity. On Earth, they can be plugged into electric outlets. Some robots that work far away from Earth have panels that catch sunlight to change into electricity. Solar panels, brother, come on. The Viking robots that landed on Mars were powered by nuclear energy. We should actually, I think nuclear fusion is such a good way to create energy. I don't even want to get started into that one. The orbiter, it's like the orbiter. Circled the planet and had panels to trap sunlight for energy. Man, okay, then like it gets into at this time like meteorites. I don't really think I need to go into that, but I do want to say what is on here, mainly because it has a really cool illustration of R2-D2 and C-3PO. C-3PO kind of struggling to get up. What would happen if an asteroid crashed into Earth? Sometimes one of the small groups of asteroids called Apollos crosses Earth's path in space. Most Apollos are less than a mile, about a kilometer across, but if one crashed into Earth, it could scoop out a deep hole, big enough to hold New York City. Fortunately, such a crash is not likely to occur for millions of years. Actually, currently, right now, like as I make this video, there is one on a potential collision course. There's always one going all the time, but this one is a little less predictable. What's interesting about this at the time is they legitimately thought, like I know I mentioned this before, but they legitimately thought that dinosaurs were killed out by drought. They were not killed by meteorites or asteroids or anything like that. Maybe it was only just recent knowledge at the time. I can't remember exactly, but I think it was around the 70s where they decided that, because you can actually see it's kind of cool, like the Land Before Time. I'm very certain it was the Land Before Time, with like Littlefoot and Bigfoot. Yeah, see, it's Steven Spielberg's movie, and they have like all of the dinosaurs going like they're dying of drought, and not in wet. You know, I don't get it. I mean, it's kind of like a little bit stupid. Imagine just going, oh yeah, dinosaurs like it just got really, really hot and then they just passed away. You know what I mean? Shut up, brother. Because I mean, think about how many adaptations the animals did. I don't need to get into this. I'm actually doing a lot of self-control in this one. This is such a beautiful photo of R2 and C-3PO kind of looking out towards the sunset. I wish that they did a little bit more of like I wish they did a little bit more of just like Star Warsy stuff in this one, because like, as you see, it's only one sun. Like I wish they did kind of the twin suns, which, you know, it was such beautiful artistry at the time as well. So they have here, which moons might have creatures living on them? Ooh, Titan, the giant moon circling Saturn, is the likeliest. Titan's clouds seem to be made of the same materials that blanketed Earth billions of years ago. These clouds may keep the surface of Titan warm and comfortable. It is possible that some tiny forms of life exist there. Two robot spacecraft named Voyager 1 and 2 were launched in 1977. Their 12-year schedule includes taking a look at the moons circling Jupiter in 1979 and at Titan and other moons of Saturn in 1980 and 81. So where does our solar system end? Pluto, our sun's farthest planet, is 4 billion miles, 6 billion kilometers away from the sun. That is 40 times farther from the sun than Earth is. No spacecraft has gone there yet, which is, I mean, still at this time, that is the same. Pluto is so far away that it is just a dot in photographs taken through our largest telescopes. So it will be a long time until we have facts about this unknown little world at the edge of our solar system. Now, we know so much more about that one, and it's actually kind of cool, like to see that it was a planet at this time, and then it became a dwarf planet, like kind of, or like, I can't remember. I think, yeah, no, it was a dwarf planet, and then it became like a moon or whatever, or like a big asteroid, and then they're like, nah, fuck it, we'll turn it back into it. What planets besides Earth have moons? So many of them, brother. Don't even need to go into this. Yeah, a lot of this is literally just, you know, I'll show this one because it's kind of cool. How are space distances measured? And it's got C-3PO with a tape measure and R2-D2 standing on it, which is like so classic if you worked with your dad or your siblings or whatever. And you kind of like, everyone's holding on the other side. It's cool. A unit called a light year is used to measure distances to the stars. It is the distance that light traveling 1,806. Oh my God, 186,282 miles, 299,800 kilometers a second can go in a year. That amounts to almost 6 trillion miles, more than 9 trillion kilometers. That's way too much. The distance to our neighbor galaxy, Andromeda, is 2 million light years. That means a spaceship leaving Earth and zooming through space at light speed would take 2 million years to get to the Andromeda galaxy. That's insane. That's actually insane. I mean, like, look, do we want to go to another galaxy? Maybe if it's Peridia. Tales from Peridia. Do stars ever explode? I think this is like, I mean, this is such a beautiful thing with the firework there. That is a comically large firework as well. Yes, an exploding star is called a supernova. The exploding star may shine 1 billion times brighter than normal. The most famous supernova was seen in the constellation Taurus in 1054 AD. China's written records and Northern American Indian cave pictures tell us about the brilliant star that remained visible for 2 years. Imagine looking up into the sky and seeing this bright light like constantly. That's what it would be to have a supernova. The last supernova was seen in our galaxy shone in 1604. Supernovas have been photographed in other galaxies. Sometimes they shine as brightly as their whole galaxy. That'd be pretty crazy. I mean, like, you're left with a couple of different ideas of supernovas. I'm just going to show, like, there's really just a couple more, and then I will leave it at that. Probably just kind of show a little bit more of the photos of all this stuff. So, I mean, what is a black hole? You get to see C-3PO here with that. I mean, that is such a cool design. I wish that they did books like this still, like to have the kind of illustrations, hand-drawn illustrations like this. It feels like we're so lost from this time. You have a matching one with R2-D2 in a black hole talking about all this kind of stuff. And then, I mean, you know, black hole stuff, I don't think it's that important to talk about right now, mainly because it's changing so much. The idea that we have of black holes are changing almost every day. I mean, Stephen Hawking was so wrong about so many things. And I mean, yet he's still such a brilliant guy. There's so many things that have been disproven in a good way, Not to dishearten him, because someone has to make the progress to actually lead to further efforts. But, you know, so much of it is just, it's really interesting. We've got a really cool, like, image here of R2-D2 and C-3PO. You know, can force fields affect the way you feel? Yeah. It was talking about exposure to radiation and the radiation that's in the galaxy. So that's the reason why a lot of the time people don't think that we can travel to the moon anymore. I mean, we can't right now because it is so dense with radiation. We don't know how we're going to get through. That's why there's so much skepticism around going to the moon, whether or not they did it, how they got so lucky. Amazingly lucky to go there, and then amazingly lucky to come back and not have any irreversible damages like what should have happened. Like incredible cancers, like massive headaches, migraines, all that kind of stuff, loss of memory, all that kind of shit. It's really, really crazy. So I like that image. I think it's really cool. But, you know, the idea of the radiation actually still kind of plagues a lot of modern science to this time. One thing that I do want to go over right before we end this one is what they had in this one. They had the prospect of future civilizations on, really on not on Earth, but kind of like within the atmosphere of Earth, within the gravitational pull of Earth. But it's these massive, giant rings, kind of like Halo. Halo mentioned. Halo. I can't do that because I'm probably going to get copyrighted. Can humans spend their entire lives in space? Humans can live their lifetimes inside a space structure if their needs are taken care of. Now, this is where this whole prospect of the Halo ring came from, which is really, really cool. I actually did a little bit of research behind that, and that actually genuinely is the reason why the Halo ring looks the same way as what it does, because it's mimicking this idea of the future technologies, right? So humans can live their lifetimes inside a space structure if their needs are taken care of. People need air, water, food, and artificial gravity. They must be protected from deadly radiation in space. No one knows yet how our bodies and minds will be affected by very long stays in space. So our first space colony will have living conditions as close to as possible as those on Earth. Really, really cool. I mean, you get to see more photos like that, but one interesting thing that I say here is NASA actually talked about the projection of, what could be the future of technology. And they talked about here in 22 years time. So that is, if I do my math, early 2000s. You know what I mean? So it's like, that was crazy maths, by the way. So 22 years, they expected us to have this big ring in the fucking, the closest thing we got was a digital ring on a game. Halo, that was literally the closest that we got. So, they thought in 22 years, there would be a massive wheel that could house 10,000 people, and it circles Earth the same distance as the moon. Far out. And we kind of end this one with a little bit of a beautiful illustration here. And it talks about how you can become a space explorer. So let's see if this holds up. If you hope to explore space someday, you need to be in top physical and mental condition. Men and women have to be, what about the others? Men and women, I'm not going to start a debate, have to be between 60 and 76 inches. That's 152 and 193 centimeters tall. By the way, 60 inches, that's crazy. That's a big, I'm about 3. 1.25. Okay. I rounded up. I doubled. Anyways, astronauts, pilots, and mission specialists must have a degree in engineering, mathematics, or science. Pilots must be experienced in flying jet planes. Mission specialists must be experts in their field. People chosen to become space explorers must go through special training to prepare for their space missions. Space explorers know that they are a part of one of the most exciting projects in human history. What a beautiful book. Honestly, I mean, like, that was actually kind of fun. That's actually kind of fun. I like doing all that kind of stuff. If you guys like that kind of stuff, if you like the book, if you want to get it for yourself, it was published by Random House. I'll put all of the stuff into the description, maybe, if I remember. I'm going to watch this over and I'm going to remember, but like if I remember after that, you know what I mean? Because it's going to take a while to export. I'm not going to get into it. If you want to get this one, you can search for it online. I don't know how you're going to find it genuinely. I mean, it's kind of a little bit hard to find. One little thing, we've got a new part of the set. We have a Darth Vader that my buckin' bestie, he got this for me when he was in Japan, in Akihabara. Very, very, very excited to go to Japan and do Star Wars Celebration. This is going to be the best time. I'm going to get so many more of this. They've actually got a Jedi version of that from the Halo Infinite kind of stuff. Halo Infinite, Star Wars Infinity. Bloody hell, I'm just on a Halo track. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys like this, please give it a like, a comment, and a subscribe if you can. If not, maybe my twerking will be enough for you. Shimmy, shimmy, yeah, yeah, wah, wah. So you just saw all the goods there. I know, pretty crazy. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. I'll see you guys next week. If you do want to see more like this, let me know again. Please let me know. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed so far. And a massive, massive thank you to my dad for getting me this one. And to all the people who tuned in to the Star Wars Blueprints. I love you all. I thank you so much. And I will catch you next week. Ciao, ciao, ciao.